long story short, there are hundreds of those. Hundreds. Um, and I also see those of you out there who put on a cape for me. And that really does mean what my purpose is. And even being here in front of you saying that this is happening, I don't really know. I don't really know. Um, but I think the thing that bothers me is that, like, sort of this feeling that I've had inside of myself, which no one has told me, but this feeling of like, I just got to shut up and take it. You know, I just kind of got to go and bury it. And I'm not built like that. So I really just wanted to come on, I think, and say thank you to the people who show up for me in the comments and the places that I'm not going to put myself. And to the rest of y'all weird.
This is the way.
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 Oh boy, this is going to be a spicy one today, folks. Good morning, everyone. It is May 31st, 2022. It is currently 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we got a lot to talk about because the situation with Moses Ingram, who plays the character of Reva in Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's kind of blowing up in not a good way either. I mean, we've been kind of talking about the last couple of days the horrendous racist comments by more like racist thumbnails created by people like Mecha Random 42. We're talking about some of the bad behavior we've been seeing going on, and Moses Ingram actually took to Instagram to call that out. Now, I showed you guys her video kind of responding to it, but let me show you guys some of her Instagram stories that kind of were the catalyst to a lot of this. Now, I can't play the audio at a certain point because it plays a Megan Thee Stallion song, so I don't want to get Max struck. But take a look at some of the things that were sent to Moses Ingram's way. Let's take a look at this.
You know what's really crazy is that, like, you would think sci-fi and fantasy would be the most welcoming and the most accepting genres because they are so frequently storylines that are ridiculous and made up of like aliens and weird shit, comic book shit, and niggas having special powers and all that, things that aren't human. Like, there was no reason.
And this is what got sent to Moses Ingram. Your days are numbered. That's one of them. Okay. It's going to keep playing. You'll see some more. Again, I can't play the audio, but just read these comments. And there we go. There's Mecha Random's thumbnail. There we go. Yeah. Makes sense to call this out because this was just absolutely abhorrent. Terrible behavior on the part of Mecha Random to even make a thumbnail like this. Disgusting. There's this one. Again, this is the kind of shit that irks me so bad. Okay. So when people out there like Ryan Kinnell, Nerdrotic, Mecha Random all go in and say, oh, there's no racism. They're not being racist. There's your receipts. There's your goddamn receipts that you keep crying about don't actually exist, because they do exist. This stuff is a problem. This stuff is going on. So stop pretending it's not. Stop pretending that Star Wars and Moses Ingram are trying to say that all Star Wars fans are racist. That's not what's going on. That's not what's going on. So stop pretending that that's the case. Because it's not. Because the Star Wars Twitter account also responded. This is on all social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, all of it. All of it, they responded. And they said this. We are proud to welcome Moses Ingram to the Star Wars family, and we are excited for Reva's story to unfold. If anyone intends to make her feel in any way uncomfortable, we only have the one thing to say. We resist. There are more than 20 million sentient species in the Star Wars galaxy. Don't choose to be a racist. There's nothing wrong with this statement. If you take issue with this statement, maybe look in the goddamn mirror and think to yourself, why do I take issue with this statement? Are there any hidden agendas or biases or bigotry that I might have inside of me? Think about that for a second. And Saggy, I'll send you a link, but I need to get on my soapbox a little bit and rant for a little bit because I got stuff I want to say. Because I know you have stuff you want to say too, Saggy, but I got to get my point across first, okay? I will give you a link in just a second, though, okay? There's nothing wrong with the statement. Nothing wrong with the statement. And the fact that people are making this a whataboutism thing, where it's all like, oh boy, Star Wars fans aren't racist. We like these characters. We like these characters. We like these characters, guys. These are good characters. It's that same shit of, oh, I have a black friend. How could I be racist? Or the same petty excuse people use. Well, I like Ahsoka. How can I be a sexist Star Wars fan? It's bullcrap. Bullcrap of the highest degree. This isn't a case of all men. This isn't a case of, all white Star Wars fans are racist. That's not what this is about. It's never been what this is about. That's not what this is. But if you can't take a moment to look in the goddamn mirror and think to yourself, maybe some of this is wrong. And you know what? I was going to react to a Jeremy video, but you know what? At least he had the balls to admit that, hey, there are bad Star Wars fans out there. He kind of admitted that. He kind of went in a different direction a little bit, but I'll give him credit for at least acknowledging that, hey, this isn't okay, even partially. I still don't agree with the majority of what he said, but you know what? At least it wasn't completely bullshit and hateful. I'll give him some credit for that. But to Ryan Kinnell, dude, go fuck yourself. Seriously. If you missed the video from the other day that Max made, this is the same man who made fun of the little girl who plays Leia, making fun of her face and making fun of her teeth, reading a super chat from, I believe, Chris Gore, and making a joke that in Alderaan they don't have dentists. Go fuck yourself, dude. Anyway, I saw you. I know you're going to work.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so what? So I'm seeing all this, and it's very interesting.
It's interesting from the point of view that at this point, the mask has kind of come off in so many ways, and I feel like, again, if people are really taking issue with Star Wars coming out and saying something like this, publicly addressing what Moses Ingram is experiencing, as we just saw on Instagram, I shared the videos of what she's being said. I feel like if you take issue with her even responding, then you lack basic empathy and humanity and morality at this point.
Oh, I agree, 100%. I think that anyone coming at her for speaking out against that is completely stupid and brain dead. I don't care who it is. Like, I'm sorry, but like, that's stupid. Like, she has every right to come forward and defend herself against those type of comments. I mean, we talked about it today, which got got our little group chat a little heated, but I think there is clear racism happening right now with this character, with this actress, obviously. And the only thing I will say that does irk me about Disney's comment is that, and I know this is going to be a hot take, but I think that when it comes down to it, whenever it's a person of color actor, Disney will always say something. But like the example I gave was like Ray. Ray's actress was a white woman. A lot of fans hated her as a character. They called out Disney and threw a lot of hate her way. Disney never said anything.
Well, they kind of roped her in at the same point because you have to remember a lot of the criticism for Rey came with The Last Jedi and some of the Mary Sue comments after The Force Awakens.
Right.
They did respond, but not in the same way. I mean, it was after 2017 they got a little more public about that. A lot of it came down to, though, because the thing is that with Rey, it was a lot more of just typical fanboy criticism and nitpicking. With Rose Tico and that character, it did come from a racial motivation in terms of hatred online. Like, if you go back and read some of the things sent to Kelly Marie Tran's way, the reason she had to even leave Instagram in the first place, I mean, they were calling her a lot of racial slurs. They were calling her like the worst things you can imagine. So that's why I feel like it's a little a little different, because how do you address fanboy hate versus actually racist troll hate? You know, like that's two different spears.
I mean, Disney should overall always be defending, and like a company should always be backing their talent. You know, because if it wasn't for the talent, you know, they wouldn't have these projects. I think Disney needs to start speaking out more for everyone against hate and toxicity, whether it's racism, people going too far with their fanboying. I think overall the toxicity across the board always needs to be addressed, because we are at that point where Disney is like okay with certain talent, even if they're, and I'm sorry, I know this is again not comparable to what's happening. I'm not trying to compare it, but when I see double standards, like the Gina Carano situation, granted, I understand that situation. Gina 100%, you know, got fired because, you know, she was saying some things that got a lot of people mad. I get it.
Well, you have to understand too.
Well, I was going to say before, because I was going to say my point is like the hate she got and the death threats she got, regardless of which, I feel like that they should have addressed it, in my opinion. That's my personal opinion. I would have if I was running like
the difference, though, Saggy,
but don't fucking send hate and death
threats.
But
what I would say, though, the difference, Saggy, is that Gina chose to die on a hill of a political opinion, right? So you're asking a company to basically comment on a political stance that she had that resulted in her firing.
RJ to defend the humanity. Like she's still
I understand that, but that's like that's the thing. They're not going to, because it's political in nature. I'm not saying no one does. No one does, but I'm saying, like, I feel like that was a case of she chose to continue to make very controversial political statements on her social media page, right? And they asked her to stop repeatedly. She didn't, and they didn't want to comment on it because, again, that's stepping their toes into politics, but they don't want to.
My
right? They don't want to be in the middle of something
like that. I understand that, but my point is, I think that it just shouldn't matter. You can still call out the toxic behavior without saying you stand with their political takes. We do it all the time. You don't have to agree with somebody's political takes to say it's not right for people to send death threats to people for their opinions on politics or otherwise. That's what I'm saying. And I will say with this situation, you're right. It is stupid that anyone's going to get mad at this woman for standing up against the racism she is being subjected to. 100%. It's fucking stupid. But I also, like I said, partly blame Disney, because Disney likes to pick and choose when they decide to stand up, and it's always a person of color. It's always a person of color. They don't stand up hard for their non-people. They're Caucasian.
I mean, they have stood against online hate before in different sections of the company. What I would say, though, is that this is a unique problem, though, because if you notice, a lot of the hate oftentimes stems from either the female characters especially, but also the female characters of color. That's also the problem here, too. That this is a very specific issue within the community versus just, like, across the board. I think that the company would stand up for other people, and I believe that they have in other cases. They have. It's just that the most publicized stuff comes down to the female characters, and particularly female characters of color, because they are the ones facing the most extreme of all of it. I mean, I mean, you saw Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi got a lot of criticism as well, and a lot of racially motivated hate as well.
Of course.
And that was a male. That was
Yeah.
an Asian male. And that was an Asian male at the lead
Yeah.
who got a lot of blowback from certain groups of people. So again, I feel like this is a unique problem in the case of Star Wars because of, and I'm gonna say it, I do think that a lot of these YouTubers do play a role in this to an extent, because when you have people like Ryan Kinnell making videos, making fun of a little girl's teeth, saying that she doesn't go to the dentist, I mean, like, that's the kind of
Ryan,
thing.
she's a kid. Stop it, Ryan. Stop it.
That's what I'm saying.
Stop
It emboldens people to act and say such hateful rhetoric, and that is the problem as well. To where there is no accountability for that, and it emboldens people to go and say more extreme things to get across their dislike of a product.
Now, see, if this character was like race swapped, I can maybe kind of understand, because I'm not always a big fan of race swapping, depending on the situation, the circumstance. Like, why does it matter sometimes? But like certain times, it's like you don't need to race swap just because you need a quota for the film. My thing is, like, if that was the case, maybe I'd understand some of the outrage, but it's not like this is a character that was race swapped. This is a new character introduced. Who cares? She nailed her audition. Good for her. Why does it matter what color she is? And they say, well, you're a diversity hire. Why is everyone got to be a diversity hire? Why can't people just be fucking hired because they nailed the fucking the audition? Like, why is it got to be a diversity hire?
We have another guest joining us, so I'm gonna leave and let you two air things out. Goodbye.
No, I don't have long. I only have a couple minutes because I have to.
Yeah, no, I know it's early in the morning, so say, you guys can say what you want to say.
No, I think. Look, here's the thing. Obviously, there are racist trolls who will target anyone. Let's be fair. It doesn't matter. As soon as Moses Ingram had made the comment about how Disney warned her, that was going to bring those people out. People like Ryan Kinnell, people like Jeremy Griggs, it was going to bring them out just wholeheartedly. That's no question about it. The thing with it, though, is the defense of those people. It's the, well, they're not the problem. That's the, that I think is a very...
No, I think that what I said earlier before you came in, Jarvis, I believe that these YouTubers are emboldening people to say even more outlandish and racially motivated hatred in order to criticize a product, essentially. Because when you have people like Ryan Kinnell making fun of the little girl who plays Leia's teeth, saying she doesn't go to the dentist, that's the kind of rhetoric that can lead down to even more hateful ways.
Yeah, like what happened with Jake Lloyd.
It's always about the female characters, too. It always ends up being about the female characters. Always.
And the thing is, a lot of these people that end up hanging out in this group are predominantly men, most of which, from what I can tell, have never probably been around women. But they also live in this terminally online space, right? Now, I look at this through the lens of like Gamergate or like the anti-SJW, the skeptic side of things, right? That I was heavily involved in. I know what it's like to look at what Disney said and just go, oh, they're virtue signaling. All right. But I think the thing is, it's that like when you look at it through that mindset, you really dehumanize the situation. And you do it because, you want content. It's not about any kind of actual war. You want content. Jeremy wants to make money. He wants to just make it about him. Ryan Kinnell wants to make it about him. And they do this because that is the type of people that they bring on. And if you ever listen to them talk about Geeks and Gamers as an organization, oh, well, we have a diverse organization. There's lefties, there's righties, there's gay people, there's straight people, and we all just disagree. This isn't an issue of disagreeing with people that you're friends with, because those kind of mindsets are different. This is an issue of people are being emboldened to put death threats towards Moses Ingram for having the audacity to be in a fucking show. Yeah. Right? Like Brie Larson made a comment. Sure, it was dumb. I thought it was stupid as hell. But they lambasted her for, raked over the coals for months. Because according,
worded, but she ended up being correct though.
Well, she wasn't really correct about I don't think she was correct. I think she just poorly worded her point. But when it comes to her and how they dehumanized every aspect of her being, right? Like she held a live stream and her mods were, protecting her like mods are supposed to do. And they bum rushed it in order to like criticize and troll Brie Larson in real time. You know what I mean? Without one shred of irony, without one shred of self-reflection. When if anyone rolls into their chat, their mods mute them out in a heartbeat. You know?
The thing I want to say, because I'm about to be at work in a bit here, is like, so I know that they do have that diversity. They do have people of everything you just said. The issue is, and I've said this before, it's like, I've even said this to Jeremy Sims, like, I would like to see it. I would like to see the disagreements on the Geeks and Gamers channel, because, you know, that's the thing that I see is like, and you make a good point. It's like, yes, they do have people who disagree with them. And you're right, they are friends. So it's different because, yeah, these are your friends who are disagreeing with you, but like, you are not putting that in your content. It comes across as, you know, it's not like, you know, they can disagree with you, but we're not seeing it. Your audience isn't seeing it. So that's why I said, I'm like, I feel like what Geeks and Gamers and Jeremy needs, if they want to have this argument, and for me personally, be like, okay, this is understandable. They need to have those difference of opinions argued when they do their live streams or when they have their videos, so that it is balanced, so it doesn't come across as an outrage thing. It should be a conversation. That's how I feel.
But when you've got him saying here, you know, like, I'm going to make a video about this shit show because they aren't going to silence anybody. Fuck Lucasfilm. Who's being silenced? That's the whole thing. It's moving the goalposts. It's making it about him, right? It's making it about the plight of the white man on the internet who's so upset. And this is Saggy. Look, I'm just like, the thing is, I really feel this way when they do these events and they bring people in and they provide food and free merch. It ends up tweaking people's perspective of them. I really feel that way. I really feel that these events, when they were going to their cross-country event tour and they bring all their people out and they, oh, we're going to host this event and here's free food and here's free rebellion hats and here's this and here's that. It does a lot to poison the well, because if you're getting something for free and you're getting a sense of camaraderie, you're not going to look at it through the same lens that it should be looked at, because it's already been altered.
Was that shots fired?
That would a little bit, but not. It's not specifically at you. You know I love you. But
the thing is with that is like I'm not stupid. Like, I'm not stupid. Sometimes when people say things like that to me, it's like, so you think I'm dumb? Is basically what you're saying.
I don't think you're dumb,
and I'm blinded by free stuff. I'm not wowed or pizzazz or my mind changes because someone fed me and gave me free stuff.
They gave you some cocktail weenies and you went on about it for days. So,
yes,
you know,
I was joking. Come on. It was a joke.
You were like, oh my God, Ryan Kennel like literally fed me cocktail weenies.
You're stupid. No, honestly, like it was nice. And to me, I wasn't looking at them like they were trying to schmooze me. Right. I looked at it like they were doing something because they were doing it nice for their fans.
Grooming oftentimes isn't designed to be look like it's grooming, you know? Like,
I'm too old to be groomed, sir.
No, you're not. Oh no, you are not.
I'm playing.
Oh, I mean, but my ultimate point is I don't think you specifically are dumb. I think you are an intelligent person. I think the thing I'm trying to most come at this from is like, look, I'm a progressive lefty who truly does dislike most of the rhetoric online, right? Like, I roll my eyes at a lot of these people. Like, so did you see the post I posted yesterday of a researcher that claimed to have been assaulted in Meta, and then like was like, oh, I was R-worded, but then like I let it happen because this was too interesting to not record. But the narrative is like, oh, I was assaulted in this virtual world, and it's like, wait, you what? Like, huh? Like, how is that even a thing? Right? Unplugged. Like, no one held you. What is, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, it's just so over the top nonsense. And the thing is, like, Jeremy and those guys, like, their side is ramping up. Jeremy's definitely like a let's go Brandon type guy. And that's part of his persona. And like, all of that is bleeding over into other things.
Right. And I don't want to like play the video because we're going to be here all day and I don't want to be here all day. But like, Ryan Kindle makes a video, right? Basically saying that Disney Star Wars is calling all fans who don't like the show racist. And I'm like, how do you miss the plot this bad? And like he says it in such like a preacher way, or he's like an angry preacher. He's like an angry Christian preacher preaching to the audience, like, stand up against these fools, you know, like. And this is the kind of hateful rhetoric where it's like it's almost like a freaking like meeting, you know. And it's just like it emboldens people to even want to lash out in angrier and angrier ways. It's just like, at what point are we going to explode in ways that are detrimental to all of us, you know? That's just my perspective, though. Again, like that's just how I see it personally. But this is the kind of thing that I don't like. I mean, listen to how he words it here.
There has already been a ton of negative backlash for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, for the cringe writing, for the terrible acting, for the storyline that doesn't make sense, and for once again, an original beloved character getting the Disney Star Wars treatment. But what Lucasfilm is now trying to say is that if you don't like this, well, you must just be a racist. They are doing everything they can to blame the fans. Episode 3 isn't even out yet, and they have already doubled and tripled down on calling fans racist.
Okay, Ryan, let's take a look at this real quick. Okay, what does the tweet say? We are proud to welcome Moses Ingram to the Star Wars family and excited for Reva's story to unfold. If anyone intends to make her feel in any way unwelcome, we have only one thing to say: we resist. What about that is calling fans racist? Saying that if you don't like the show, you're racist. There's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Sorry, my phone overheated. Apparently,
yeah. And I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old who's sick, so I'm like, I have to. You
guys are fine. Yeah, you guys are fine. But like I'm saying, there's nothing in this video, or no, sorry, nothing in this tweet that says if you don't like the character, you're racist. Nothing. They say if you make her feel unwelcomed, basically, if you're being hateful towards her for joining the Star Wars universe, then you're not cool. Like, go away. Like, that's it. Like, that is not at all, Ryan, what they're saying, but he's making it about him and about us white Star Wars fans because the white man's being pushed out of Star Wars. That's what it is.
Stop being white and racist then. I'm just kidding.
Well, it's very hard for Ryan KKK Kennel, you know, so.
Whoa.
You got a stutter there, RJ? What's going on?
Yeah, you know, I don't like a little nervous twig, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy because, in a sense, like, I get that, like, right now it does come off like, okay, well, we're not racist because we're criticizing them, like, but that's not who they're talking to. That's not who they're referring to. They are technically referring to the actual racist people, so I will agree with you there. If you're not racist, that doesn't apply to you. I do, like I said, me and Jarbo argued about this earlier, though. I do also kind of, like I said, I still stand by, like, I feel like Disney sometimes needs to speak out more for all of their actors. It does sometimes come across to me when I see some of these stories, like Disney's like, oh, they're black, we have to make sure we protect our black people. And it's like, you can protect all actors. If people are getting hate and they're getting death threats sent to them and the fans are being toxic, it doesn't matter what race they are or why they're being toxic. Being toxic, sending death threats, saying fucked up shit to these actors. Disney should always be speaking out against all of them. But that's why I said, in my opinion, you know, again, as a black person, I do see sometimes companies will always only speak out when it's a person of color to be like, hey, look, we like people of color. We're not racist over here. When sometimes they know damn well they got a few racists amongst their ranks too. That's why I sometimes get frustrated with these situations, because I feel like people also ignore, and not you guys, but I say sometimes people also ignore that these companies aren't always doing these things for the best interest of the people that they claim they're protecting or representing, right? So that's why sometimes I get frustrated with these stories, because it's all over the place with the racism.
No, I understand where you're coming from. I will say though, like, could they have done? I mean, listen, there is some of that hypocrisy with the way that John Boyega got treated, right? And hopefully one day they make that right in some way, right? But this situation with Moses is just so despicable. I mean, I'm glad that at least someone's speaking up and saying something, at least now. You know, at least now they're coming out and making like a more hardline stance. And before, I feel like they were kind of afraid to address this element of the fandom. But now they kind of are, which is I think is a positive element to see overall.
Well, I am at my job. Thank you for having me on for a bit. I do got to run and get to work. I will be probably talking about this tonight when I get home. So, RJ, Jarbo, you guys are always welcome to join when I start going in on this tonight.
Yeah, no, if I'm available, I'll try to swing by. Absolutely. Thank you for coming on and
All right,
speaking
I
with
love
me.
you guys, my token white friends. Well, RJ's not white, but he's
Yeah,
white.
I'm not
half.
white, so be careful with that.
Okay, Jarbo is my token white friend.
Yeah, that counts. That tracks.
Okay, I love
I mean,
you
I'm like
guys.
99% white and like 1% Italian.
Yeah, I was saying Italians are like the blacks of the white people.
So can
They
I
are.
play that card? Like no.
You can
no.
100% play the card.
So like
Italians are
1% of my heritage is Italian. And it's like, there you go, buddy. All right,
All right,
cool.
you guys, I gotta run. Bye.
Is a
I can apply to a historically Italian college.
wow. Real quick, Blue Jay for 4.99 super chat. Thank you, Blue Jay. Saying I'm so glad I've unsubscribed from these shows years ago. I made the right decision ultimately. I feel like. Yeah, Trevor. I don't know how much longer you can stick around, but I mean, if you have anything you want to say before you dip out, you're more.
Yeah, I gotta call and make doctor's appointments for kids. I just was like looking up. This whole thing pisses me off because, look, we know what they're doing, they know what they're doing, and that's the problem. Is again the cycle continues, right?
Well, it's evolved in a lot of ways too, because I know Max was talking about this the other day. I mean, look at the way like Jake Lloyd, Ahmed Best, right, and now it's Little Leia and Moses Ingram, and it's kind of both. It's sad that we've never evolved as a society to where people are still getting hate for being in Star Wars, but now I feel like there's even more of a racially motivated hint to it.
Well,
maybe it didn't exist as it did before in '99.
I don't think like so speaking from experience, right, in regards to like how anti-SJWs act, it's the exact level of hyperbole you'll hear on the other side, right? So it's like when you hear someone on the left and they're like they overreact to something and you're like, what are you overreacting to? Oh my God. This is the exact same playbook. They are the literal opposite of what they claim to hate. And they've gotten there of their own accord because they've had to push it and push it and push it. The only way people pay attention to them is when they go this far, right? And so it's like, that's why Jeremy and Ken will have to do it. Like they that's the only way they really get attention. And that is like, I'm not saying that their platforms are dying because I have literally no idea. I haven't looked in months. But that is how they operate. They have to act like they're always the victim, like they're the ones that are being silenced, like they're the ones that are being cast out for simply disagreeing. When it's like, but look at the concept you're disagreeing over. If you're disagreeing over like a policy debate, that's one thing. There's nuance there. When someone is literally getting told that like they're going to die because of the color of their skin, and you're like, we're the victims? No.
Well, also, like, and I said this before, and I'll say it again. If you're really that upset over a simple statement saying, "Don't be racist. Racism is bad," really sit down, look in the mirror, and think about what the hell has gone wrong in your life and what you've been radicalized to believe on the internet, to where you're suddenly getting angry over something as simple as that.
Yeah,
it is literally as simple as just be nice to people. Don't be racist. That's all they're saying.
Yeah, like, and again, you can disagree over Reva as a character. I personally like the character. I can see where the arc is going, and I think it's interesting.
We can have a nuanced conversation about whether or not you like the writing or the performance of Reva, but that most of the criticism for her is not coming from that place. They'll say it is. They'll keep saying, well, we just don't like the character because of the way she's written. But these are the same people who made videos calling her Ingram a diversity hire, a diversity shield, like Mecca Random did. I mean, these are the same people who were attacking her from the get-go for the color of her skin, whether they realized it or not, before the show even came out. Now it's all of a sudden, well, we just don't like it because of the writing. Well, it's not the way you were acting before.
Exactly. They just simply, look, to them, it's about money and it's about attention. And that's what it boils down to. It's sad to see. The older I get, the more like you kind of look back on shit and you go like, yeah, man, like this was a annoying, you know, like it was not good. And I have my own part in it too, but I always thought I was trying to see. The thing is, I think it's like, I always thought I was being the nuanced one in the conversation, right? Like I thought, but then I realized after a while that like I was seeking this stuff out. And I would, you know, I'm like waiting for something like that, like something like this to drop would be like freaking like the biggest dopamine spike in the world to me back in 2016.
Right, because it meant like you could combat it with your own content. You can make like something great out of it. Yeah,
exactly. Right. And so it's like that is the mindset that they're currently in. But I think they're fully aware of it though. I think in this case, like someone like Mecha Random, I don't think is aware of it. I think Mecha Random is one of those like weird true believers. But but like, you know, Geeks and Gamers and Nerdrotic and Kindle and those guys, they all know what they're doing. They absolutely know what they're doing. But the smaller people underneath them, the one that supports them, they think that they're standing up against a corporation, right? That they're fighting the good fight.
Well, they think that they're fighting the good fight, but they also believe that they're fighting this imaginary culture war. And again, it ties into, I'm not trying to get super political, but like the white replacement theory that we're
well, a lot of it, well, that, but that's not imaginary. Well, okay, sorry, I don't want to say it's not imaginary.
Well, I'm saying the imaginary culture war is what I said.
Well, the culture, I do think that a culture war is happening, right? I do believe that, but it's not in a way that a lot of other people do. I think the culture war is not really what it is it's a paradigm shift, right? But it's also like there are protections in certain fields for certain things that you can't talk about, right? Because like the concept of like, you know, again, just use this as an example. Like Star Wars says like, hey, don't be racist. And they go, whoa, you guys are the racist ones, right? Like, what? That makes no sense. But on the other side of that, you got people out there, you know, people on the left that are just like, if you so far as like look at someone the wrong way, you are acting in a way against them, right? Like, did you see the person who put a whole thread together about, because the word Eskimo was used one time when they said they're going to Alaska, and Argyle's like, oh, are there Eskimos there? And this whole thread about how that was racist and how Stranger Things is, you know, phobic for using that term.
Oh, right. That too, but like the controversy with Will, sexuality too.
Well,
and, like,
exactly.
Noah
Will,
Schnapp
yeah,
saying,
like Noah Schnapp said, it's up to your own
yeah.
interpretation.
And people are really upset about that, saying like that's a straight person talking, like not actually knowing what.
Well, but Robin is gay in the show, and Maya Hawke is straight. No one's complaining about that. You know what I mean? It's so, everything is so manufactured and over the top.
It's all performative too. A lot of it's performative too.
Very much, and it's politics. It's all politics. The reason why Jeremy acts the way he does and doesn't ever back down, the same with Ryan, and it's because they're pulling from Trump's playbook.
I do think that Ryan, Nerdrotic, Josiah Rises, like they're the worst right now. Like Jeremy, I watched a little bit of Jeremy's video. I will at least give him somewhat credit. Very slim. He still went to the same talking points, but at least he acknowledged that, you know, that there is racism kind of that exists, right? But he's not going to go out and be like, oh, it's majority. Like he still did the whole, oh, majority of the fans aren't like this kind of stake. It's like they're trying to like deflect on criticism. His tweet though was pretty bad. But I do agree with Degrassi here that their coordination is kind of scary. How coordinated they are when it comes to this. How they're so easily able to like move on these stories.
Well, so you know how they
narrative.
You know how they do that, right? They have so they have a Discord, and they have a bunch of underlings in the Discord. And generally speaking, like this is what Jeremy used to do. Is that someone would drop an article, and they'd be buzzing about it, and then the minions would go and make their video. And then if that started getting traction, then Jeremy would go and make a video amplifying it because he had the bigger platform. But he would wait until it was big enough to where he could actually capitalize on it.
Yeah.
So they're coordinated because I don't want to say they're like a hive mind. Mm-hmm. I mean, a hive mind of idiots, maybe, you know, but it's like, but they look at it from the, like, what will make the most splash, and they attack it on all fronts.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this before you go, because I feel like this is a great question to end things on. This isn't from Nando Movies, who I actually follow, is a great guy. And this is a great question to ask. I feel like it could like round out our conversation. And this just got published, but he said, on one hand, of course, Star Wars needs to stand up for their actors when they're getting racist, sexist attacks. On the other hand, this is only going to embolden the racists and sexist, and I just don't see how Star Wars makes it out of this. What is the path forward?
So, okay, that's a good point.
That's a great question. Like, I don't know. Like, what is the path forward for Star Wars? Because you address this, but it only emboldens those who seek to do this even more.
Yeah.
What
so,
do you do?
In essence, well, the problem is that it's right. It's very much damned if you do sort of thing. Because you want to say something to shut people up, and then you also don't want to draw extra attention to it because that could then end up being a bad thing. In this particular regard, I think again, it's the media that's a big problem here, because Moses had made that comment in an interview. That comment then blew up. It was probably more like just like oh no, they told me about it, like to be careful, But we know that Kelly Marie Tran and Daisy Ridley were harassed on social media. Anyone who has social media gets harassed. So it's not like
they left social media,
and they left social media. Yeah,
but I really hope Moses Ingram stays on social media and does not give in. And well, I can't speak to her mental health, of course, but I really hope that she's able to stay on social media, because I feel like that's as much as like I ain't gonna be backed down by your bullshit, Well,
yeah, and that's kind of like a big part of it too. But again, ultimately, when it comes to like what Jeremy and Ryan and all those guys want, they want attention. Like, remember during the Zack Snyder thing, and Jeremy's like, I don't care about Hollywood, but if Hollywood wants to come to me, I'm open to talk, because that's what he wants. He wants to be a tastemaker. He wants them to come to him because he has got the ears of hundreds of thousands of consumers, and to help direct the conversation. That's what he wants, right? So in Star Wars, what the thing is, these companies, in my opinion, should probably like not be involved. Like, politics has no place in business, really. Tomorrow is June 1st. What does that mean? It means it's Pride Month. Cool. But every one of these corporations will come out and they'll change their Twitter banner and their Twitter avatar, or all social media banners, to reflect their rainbow flag. They'll sell rainbow products. They'll talk about it all month. July 1st rolls around, everything's back to normal for the next 11 months. And it's a constant joke amongst elements, a lot of the anti-SJW types, because they see it as blatant corporatism. And it is blatant corporatism. You can support it, right? You can support it, but it's like, does it only really matter once a month? It's like, look, you have a Black History Month is in February, and then March is Women's History Month, And then it becomes this cycle of like, let's just follow these trends that at the end of the vast majority of people do not care about brands being involved in this stuff. Businesses will always find a way. To give you a good example of this really quickly, during World War II, guess what was banned in Germany? Coke. Coca-Cola could not sell Coke products in Germany. So what'd they do? Fanta. They sold Fanta products in Germany. Same company.
Oh, that's where Fanta came from.
Yeah, right. IBM could not sell computer technology stuff in Germany, but they still manufactured the Enigma machine. That was the technology used to make the Enigma machine. Companies will always find a way to sell in places where they're told they're not supposed to, because business is always going to be business, right? So it's like, people can be up in arms about the two women kissing at the end of Rise of Skywalker being cut out for the Chinese release. Well, guess what? Disney don't care, because the Chinese release, those people in China ain't going to see any of the discourse because of the way the country's locked down. But that's their culture, And is it Disney's place to stand up and do something about it? Like, the whole thing in Florida is the same way. Now, DeSantis,
I do think they only stood up for the Florida thing because their employees encompass a large part of the LGBT community in California, but also too because of the business impact on the parks too.
Sure. I mean, look, there's always reasons for things to happen. Okay, right? But if it's not going to directly impact the company, then why would they do something about it? You know, everyone got mad at Disney over the production of Mulan because there was that, you know, the Uyghur camp.
Which that was kind of messed up. It is kind of messed up. They filmed there and they kind of like, you know, brushed it under the rug and pretend it didn't exist and all that. And, you know,
what do you want? Well, what do you expect them to do? That's my question.
I mean, you could not film there. I mean, that was probably
they went through a production company, and that's where the production company chose to make. Keep in mind, the production company was like brought in through Disney. Disney provided the funding, and a production company will have to go make it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, so they have a location scout. They went and they did it. But they wanted to film it in China because they wanted to be authentic. Because if they didn't do it in China and they didn't do it authentically, people would then be mad at them for not doing it authentically. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Now, do I think that the Uyghurs being in those camps is a good thing? Hell no. But do I blame Disney for filming there? No, at the same time, I don't. And I think it's a wasted talking point by people on the right who just want to use it as a way to like bludgeon Disney while also, you know, avoiding any kind of rational conversation about their own actions. Corporate, like I'm a capitalist at heart, but I feel a company should maybe be a bit more like careful with how they do things. But in the age of all of this, like, you know, this social media messaging crap, you get so many bad takes. Like, do you remember the Kendall Jenner Pepsi can shit?
Oh yeah, of course it did. Yeah.
Like that was like so stupid, you know, but that was an actual ad that was pitched because these companies want to feel like they're in, like they just need to shut the fuck up. It's really what it boils down to. It's just create the content, put out the content, you know, and do your best to suffocate out the haters. All right. Those trolls are always going to exist. When you acknowledge them, guess what? They win. That is the reality.
Maybe at some point they need to start making content that directly opposes them too. Like in a way where it's like not like overt where it's like bad storytelling. I mean, like just like say fuck you and just make shit, you know, like give me a Finn series in Disney Plus, give me a Rey series on Disney Plus, make some more content with black leads and female leads.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, the
Just
Lando show should be on the
you know.
Yeah, the Lando show should be right on the horizon. Should be top of the pile in my opinion. But at the same time,
Charbo, they love Lando. He's one of the good ones. That's what they say. He's one of the good ones.
I know. Remember when no one liked Lando back in 1980 with ESB? No, dude. No. Like, no. That's ridiculous. But anyway, I have to go and schedule these appointments.
Yeah, no, you're fine, man. I appreciate you coming on and talking to me about this, as always.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, I mean,
It's
look, I know them.
frustrating.
It's frustrating because it's like, look, I want there to be, I think racism bad, obviously. Sexism, all that shit bad. Stories exist in the bubble of which they're created. Demanding stories cater to a certain demographic, I think is stupid. Demanding stories be altered in order to twist it to not offend people is stupid. But approaching stories with the direct intent to find flaws that fill a phantom narrative is even worse. Because it diminishes the creative integrity of the product and it doesn't make you look like the winner. It just makes you look like a pedantic, petty bitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my take on it. But again, I mean, the Jedi Code here says that's true, Jarbo. Disney has to learn to stop reacting. I mean, yeah, I get it. But
I would rather they come out and say something, to be honest, because silence also emboldens.
True.
It's a no-win scenario, but I'd rather that you always stick up and say something and speak out.
I think in regards to like, let's say this kind of stuff, like, yeah, like, you know, come out and defend her and whatever, but then make sure you do defend. If you're going to do it for everybody. That is true. But also it's like, look, again, making it like political is kind of, you know, that can have its also adverse effects, right? Like, but at the same time, I don't know what to, I mean, like, you know, I don't want to like limit anyone's free speech. I mean, I don't mind laughing at it because everything they've done is stupid, but it's like whenever there's a pushback, the people who are the blatant racists will just go, "Oh, I'm not the problem. I'm the victim."
Mm-hmm.
And they can use that to get more money. And that's all. It's just performative, like you said. Anyway,
yeah,
I gotta go, but we'll chit chat later on.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
All right, everyone, have yourself a great day. Go watch Obi-Wan again because it's awesome. And fuck the haters.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
I'll see you guys.
Yeah. All right, folks. That was we had a couple special guests pop in. 72 live viewers. Wow, thank you guys so much for watching this conversation. I do this Star Wars podcast. This is the way we try and do an episode every week at least. Please make sure to hit that like button and make sure to subscribe both to MME and Marvel Mania. Really helps out me especially. There are so many comments to get to that I'm probably not going to be able to read all of them. Sorry, guys. Just so much has happened. But it's been a great conversation, and I really appreciate all of you joining. I do need to get out of here as well, though. We're probably going to end it right here. But this has, again, been a great conversation. Again, I just wanted to go live and kind of comment on this. My final statement, at least, and then I'll do some plugging real quick for something that's happening later tonight. As I said, I think that a lot of this is just downright despicable. I wish that people would stop putting out these false narratives saying that, well, we're not racist, we like these characters. It's the same shit they do with Ahsoka in terms of combating, saying that they're not sexist. The same thing over and over again, the same playbook. People like Ryan Kinnell, Nerd Roddick, they're all pieces of shit who are trying to embolden their audience to act out and lash out in more hateful and angry ways. They are not in the best interest of fans or fandom as a whole. They don't care about you guys. They don't care about fans or fandom. They only care about what you provide to them monetarily. That's all it's ever been about. And you know what? I liked the first two episodes of Obi-Wan. I thought they were pretty good. Second episode wasn't as good as the first one, but listen, they're both great episodes. I gave the series this far an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's great. I think it's off to a great start. My criticisms of Reva and some of the writing in the second episode have nothing to do with Moses Ingram or the color of her skin, and she does not deserve this whatsoever. And again, if you have a problem with the simple notion of Star Wars coming out on social media and saying racism is bad, please be nice, then you really got to look in the mirror and figure out what the hell went wrong in your life and what has led you down this radicalized path. It's as simple as that. Yeah, episode 3 is tonight. Very much looking forward to that. Should be great. Yeah, that's all I got to say on the matter. Later tonight, outside of Star Wars, later tonight at, I believe it's 9 p.m. EST. I'll have to check. Maybe I'll bump it to 10 p.m. EST. I will be reviewing Stranger Things 4, Volume 1, live review and spoiler discussion. This will be on both MME and my channel. We'll be going live tonight. I've been waiting to do this for a while. Finally finished the season. We'll be discussing that later tonight. That is Stranger Things Stranger Things 4, Volume 1, review and spoiler discussion later tonight at 9 p.m. EST here on the channels. Again, thank you guys very much for checking out this live stream, this live rant and discussion about the situation with Moses Ingram. I'm sure I'll be discussing this more in the weeks to come as the show continues to unfold. This is very much a large conversation we're going to be having. Again, I look forward to hearing what you guys think down in the comments below. Please engage in the comment section. I want to hear from you guys. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, if you have a different point of view, I want to hear it. Okay? So again, have a great rest of your day, everyone. Have a blessed day and enjoy the last day of May. Can you believe it's June already? It's June. The year's going by so fast. But again, thank y'all so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace the heck out.